Durag Wisdom here, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Y2K 20.01.29 with just 278 days until our election. Right now, the impeachment trial is at the question and answer phase. Haven't decided on witnesses yet or documents. Moscow Mitch is claiming in public that he may not have enough votes to stop witnesses. Why he's saying that? Maybe there's some kind of plan. This is a new era. An era where values and norms are smashed. An era of the invasion of the Trump pod deviants. Vladimir Putin has a goal to undermine liberal democracies on our entire planet. His backing of the Nazi Trump through his interference in our Y2K16 election was part of his plan. And it has worked spectacularly. In just 3 short years, Trump has succeeded in turning our country and its values upside down. He has made us the laughingstock of the entire world. And worse, he is making bullying and nastiness the order of our days. One time, we were on the forefront to fight climate change. One time, our allies could depend on us. At one time, we weren't building walls and locking up children in cages. You know, it's the 75th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz. Haven't learned much since those days, have we, if we're still locking up children? Putin is laughing, while the slob, the thug, the bully, the Nazi, the traitor, the birther bastard makes a place, a special place in the cemetery for our USA. Vlad the Vomit is laughing his fundament off, and if he had a fiddle like Nero, he would play it while our country burns. It is the invasion of the pod Trump deviants. They're here already, and you could be next. Look in your cellars or in your attics, because these fiends may be growing there. Now, you know how Mikey Pompeo, the so-called Christian, if Jesus came back, he'd want to smack Mike Pompeo upside his head, how he insulted that reporter and cursed her out. And then I was watching on the news, Trump was praising him for doing that. Imagine the President of the United States praising thuggish behavior from his Secretary of State. And you know, sitting behind him, that idiot Dershowitz was patting him on the back. I voted for Clinton. And I also noticed that there were other people, members of my tribe around there with yarmulkes. Well, that was with this Netanyahu meeting. That made me want to throw up, literally. And that's for another topic. How members of my tribe could support a Nazi. We have to talk about this. There's a reason why I call my blog Memos from the Asylum. So forget about Mikey Pompeo and normalizing his thuggish behavior. Remember when Joe Biden was at some kind of, I don't know whether it was Iowa, but he was at some kind of campaign event and he verbally attacked someone who disagreed with him. He was like going in the guy's face. This is the old Biden, not the new one that we've gotten to know. The one that was screaming at a voter was the same one who helped to persecute Anita Hill. Instead of engaging respectfully with this person that disagreed with him, Biden must have fallen asleep next to a trumpin' pod, because he awoke that day as a nasty trumpin' creep, a deviant who attacks those who disagree rather than attempting to engage them. This is the main reason why I will do in all my power to show even those who disagree with me a modicum of respect. In any discussion, we must remain calm and reasonable. As soon as you stoop to insults, you lose and the Trump deviants rule. Biden that day had been infected by the pod deviant Trumpists. And it was an ugly sight. And I didn't forget that. Just like I didn't forget his famous, and I want to say infamous, corn pop. Corn pop! Once again, as soon as you stoop to insults, you lose and the trumpet deviants rule. We have a thug and a lowlife as president. And whether we like it or not, the President of the USA serves as a role model for the rest of the nation. Presidents, with few exceptions, endeavor to be, quote unquote, presidential, professional. Bullying, cursing, insulting, and lying are not the hallmarks of a professional. Trump neither was nor will he ever be a professional. I was a teacher in the New York City school system for 28 years. Being a professional is something you work at, and for some people it's an art. This is precisely what Putin wanted when he picked Trump to be our president. That's right, picked Trump to be our president. There are at least 60 million or so registered voters in our country right now who support thuggery and brutality in their leader. This minority of deviants will succeed in giving their king another term if the rest of us decide to stay home on election day and Putin is still helping him. Totalitarians, disguised as Republicans, have played a long game, and I've said this again and I'll say it over and over. And now with the help of Citizens United, gerrymandering, voter suppression, a tainted lower federal court system, and a tainted Supreme Court system have given them the edge no matter what, unless the rest of us come out in force 278 days from now to vote. The fact that the thugs do not allow us to take off from work on election day makes the prospect of their further control over us more real than ever before. But I intend to fight a Trump and Putin dictatorship over our country to my dying breath. And part of our strength comes in our sense of values and our sense of human decency and our sense of respect. Fairness too. A president's behavior must be beyond reproach. This one in there now behaves like an ignorant thug and a bully. A bane on our country. I said before I was a retired teacher, 28 years in the New York City system, as I said. And I feel sorry for all the educators today, because since we live in the age of defining deviancy down, in an age where the President of the United States acts like a bully and a thug, in an era when the President models low and violent behavior in front of the eyes of our children, like praising Pompeo for cursing out a reporter doing her job, a teacher's job now must be more horrific than ever before. If the President of our country indicates through his grossly inappropriate behavior that cruelty and bullying are okay, then our children will take his lead. Children are very impressionable. And again, I was a school teacher and know how important modeling good behavior in front of children is vital to their learning, to integrating them into society. The Trump goon, on the other hand, needs an army of violent young thugs. Check out Clockwork Orange. This is exactly the kind of USA, no USA, that Putin wants. A nation of ignorant creeps and bullies who are so clueless they can be manipulated any way that he chooses. So the next time you get the urge to violate a fellow citizen's human dignity because he doesn't like the thug in the White House, wake up and shake loose from the tendrils of the Trump deviant pod people. And treat your fellow living beings the way you would wish to be treated. This will raise our country up out of the cesspool created by the Putin Trumpinists and back to where it belongs, on the top of a hill, a shining bright hill, welcoming all who would wish to live here in peace, in dignity, and in freedom.